Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel, here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. Good afternoon. It is a wonderful day. It's a little bit balmy. The sun is it's not, but it is, yes, cloudy. But the plants love it. Now, today, we have a very nice topic to discuss. Actually, I am invited later on as a guest speaker of a general membership meeting of a PMAP chapter down south. And the topic that we will discuss is actually my topic also. And I would like to confirm, and I need your affirmations, if what I prepared is actually the the updated the updated information or data that I will share with them. So let me see. These weeks are really busy. We are actually catching up despite the pandemic. Despite the pandemic, we're actually catching up. Uh, I was involved in a PMAP initiative. I was also involved with ECOP. They had their national conference for employers, and I'm the one in charge of the magazine. So it's a busy week, and I am preparing for uh, what do you call this uh, slides for the webinars that I have. It's some are blended, some are actually what do you call this? There is face to face, and I will not be going there, but uh, there will be some arrangements, of course, activities. So I'm busy. So let us start with the topic for today, which is new trends in HR. And I can see we have already Mark Joseph Cancino is here, Rina Rivero, thank you, and Ray Guerrero from ECO. Okay. So let me start. When we say trends, these are actually being done. There are some of those that are actually still being discussed. Plans. Because of the pandemic, there are lots of discussion on what will be the future of HR, what will be the future of management and companies. But what we're going to discuss trends. So this is actually what is being done now. The problem is some of us are a little bit delayed in responding to what we are supposed to do. I may start maybe with the recent history of what is actually the trends in HR. 1970s, it's actually the protection of the workplace. Then we have actually, which is why we have the labor code. Then actually after that, the protection of the workers, and after that, we have what we call the work life. Then the empowerment. Then most recently, it's well-being. Pre-COVID, that was actually at the onset of around 20, when I was president. I 2 years maybe, so around 2013, everybody was actually all gaga about well-being. Then COVID came, more. Then of course, because of the pandemic, the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, we have to embrace it. So it's actually technology. Although it was there, even the that one of virtual, the Zoom meetings. Way back in 2016, I had Zoom meetings already. So also, there is also another take on the history of what are the trends in HR. So what is scary, I'm using the word scary, is that some of us may be left behind already. So we have friends of mine who are seasoned HR. I would like you to give us your insights. Let us start with manpower planning and acquisition. Let us start with that. What are the trends now? I will start. Actually, a lot of HR don't do manpower planning. There is even the difference between manpower planning and human resource planning and workforce planning. This is not a webinar, it's just up to you to research on that. There is a difference. These are not just terminologies, but there is a difference when you do it. But I think all of that should be done. So, Rena, Ray, and those who are here, can you share in your insights? What are the updates, the updated trends that we do in HR planning and acquisition? One of which is a trend that we should do it because that is actually missed. We are so robotic, automatic, and filling up our vacancies that we don't actually do that. A tip is we must actually be we must actually input that in the strategic plan. Okay, I will wait for some insights from our guests here. There are already many. Then the other one in acquisition, it has to be competency based so that you can use the well-known. I even have that in ECOP, and I mentioned that in PMAP, the competency-based interview technique. But how will you do it if you are not really competency-based? So what are the trends in that? Can I have some insights from our guests here? Ray, Rina, who are else are here? Mark, Joseph. One test is your job descriptions. If your job description are still task-based, then you are not competency-based. Yes, can we spot on Rina Rivero? Rina Rivero is a known management and HR consultant. CBI and use of digital tools. Yes. CBI and use of digital tools. This is for acquisition. Actually, recruitment is a subset of acquisition. And in the acquisition, wherein you start from sourcing down to onboarding, you use your, what do you call this? Your technology. Even your assessments you can use. And even in the sourcing or in your recruitment, use your technology. You use your social media recruitment. That is. So gone are the days that you just post it at your gate and you say, wanted mananahi. So but before you post it, using your social media and your technology to your assessments, it's not expensive. There are online assessments, selection tools that are even free. Before you have to pay for it. And then Rina is telling us that the JD for job levels. Yes. But Rina, what I am emphasizing here is actually that the job descriptions must be competency based. They must have the KRAs and the KPIs. How can you do your CBIT if you don't have that? If you don't only base it on a job description that is task list, wherein you still have what you call performs other functions as yes. But Rina, yes, thank you, Rina, for can we spot on direct that previous to that to attract talents to apply on employer branding. Yes, actually this is more marketing. So this is actually, we have to make it a point that our organization is an employer of choice so that people, it's the other way around. Di ba, Rina? Rina is a friend of mine in Pops and MPS, di ba, Rina? It's the other way around. It's not us look when we source. It's that we just wait for people to come, and sometimes the active applicants are not the good applicants, but the passive. The passive applicants actually are the ones trying to check if you are good or bad, and then they can refer it in LinkedIn, in Google, and in your websites. So the trend now is actually branding. I hope this will be shared and all the HR will be listening to us, that is important. The trend now in acquisition is branding. Yes. So to attract, and yes, agree 100%, sabi ni Rina. Yes. So that is that it is not that we have to be as if that when we place a vacancy, everybody will come to us and apply. No, no. Up to this time, I'm already retired, but I am still updated, and I have around 3 job portals that are actually sending me, what do you call this? They trigger and send me uh, vacancies. And I noticed that there are some that have been there for quite some time. So that means that the applicants are not really buying it. You are not an employer of choice. Maybe that it should be marketing. That is the trend now. You have to make sure. But that really cuts into your organization, your culture. If you are looking for somebody who like to invite, the term now is invite. You invite somebody to join your organization, but your social media is full of negativity. Your people are actually ranting, or your website is not actually active. Nobody will really be attracted to your company. Then you are not the company of choice. Yes. So can we spot on the last post of Rina? Rina, thank you for joining us. Yes. It's a two-way assessment now. Talents assess the organization too. Yes. So that is what I mean by trends. Trends in Rina, I am going to change my presentation later on. I will have to include this. Thank you. I would just like to affirm. Yes, that is actually a trend now. Please be reminded that I used to work with Inquirer, and from HR, I was promoted to sales, to marketing and sales, and I was the one handling the job fair. And that was already something that I already gathered, that for those companies that are not really so good in their marketing effort, nobody will really line up. But for those companies wherein your brand is actually nice, then people will really line up and join you. So this is a very important. Okay, so let us try to finish for manpower planning and acquisition. The trend is, one, it is already being done. I have lots of students who are interested to do it. I even have a certification that's coming up with PMAP, and we're going to do that. And that is actually being missed by all. You are not inputting it in your strategic plan, the manpower plan, the human resource plan, and the workforce plan. There is a difference. I will just ask and remind you, where is the organization design comes in? Where will the job analysis comes in? In those things, you have to think about it, because that is very important. And two, it has to be competency based. We'll go with, because competency based is actually the trend now, and it literally cuts across all the talent management areas. Then, of course, in the acquisition, from your sourcing, you use your technology. From your recruitment, you use your technology, your social media. Then, in both, Rina told us that it has to be branding. Branding is very important. It's the other way around. It's actually applicants assessing us if they would like to join us. So we really have to look into our culture and how we project ourselves. And the next one are the assessments. I go to Lisa Mapago. There are a lot of people in PMAP wherein they provide online assessments. I was HR decades ago. I was already using an agency for the tests, for critical position. It's not me who is actually doing the tests. And of course, you have to reinvent or rethink your acquisition. HR is not supposed to be the end. You are not supposed to select. That is rethinking your acquisition, and that is the trend. Thank you, Rina, for joining. For yes, it's a two-way assessment. So now, the next item, siguro before we have the break, let's guests of mine help me update our colleagues. Now, this time on compensation and benefits. I would like to know your insights. There are already many here. So I would like to know your insights. What are the new trends in compensation and management? I would like to start. I would like to start. They even have changed compensation and benefit as rewards. But you know, there is a difference between compensation and benefits and rewards. It is the, I don't know where you're going to place it, pay plus benefits. But rewards is actually encompassing. Even the rewards includes your stay. It's actually very emphasized now, those that are working from home and those that are reporting to the offices. So which one is rewarded? That is the question. I hope you share this because these are actually things that you need. Okay. Rina again is telling us, keep your salary structure updated. Ay, nako, Rina, you are correct. You are correct. A lot of organizations, big ones, you know their structure is kopong-kopong. Even, you know, even before, to think that there are compensation and benefit assistants, specialists, officer, managers, but they are not updating it. Yes, it's already flexible benefit. Thank you, Rina. Thank you, Rina. So in the rewards or in the comben, you have flexible benefits. And there is a difference between flexible benefits and the cafeteria type of benefits. So these are now the trends. These are now the trends. So gone are the days that you really have to impose, say something to an individual, to an employee, wherein he really doesn't like it. I remember even that one of the rice subsidy is not being appreciated by the younger generation. Yes, Rina, thank you for helping me. I really love you. Updated and competitive. Yes. You know, the point system, you can still use that, but you know, it's better to use the market. But it's a little bit expensive. You have to get it from, say, I don't know if TDI, Mercer, I am mentioning organization here. Gemma, join us also because we are now on compensation and benefits. And these are the trends. And these are really very important. The question is, I will make an intriga. What is the compensation benefit specialist and manager doing if your structure is not competitive? And you know, this is integrated. Compensation, what I know the trend is, Rina, help me to correct it. We are many here, but I like your insights. It's what you call 3Ps. The pay for position is actually your salary structure, and it has to be updated according to Rina, and it has to be actually based on the market, and it has to be looked into because there are actually some position that is actually making it, disrupting it. An example of it, those in technology, those in IT. So you have to look into that. Don't, the thing that we do before is just ask for a waiver. You always ask for a waiver that this person, why don't you come up with a multi-structured compensation and benefit? We can help you that, Rina, and I can help you with that. You know, Rina, I am actually involved in one organization. Ay, matigas ang ulo. They don't want to change this. I don't know why. And you know, people are already leaving. Diba? People are already leaving. You have to benchmark. ECOP has one. Or you can ask Ray, they have one, but I think it's a little bit late, but you can still use it as basis. Actually, PMAP is also doing it. It depends on the community. That is why they went more of a lifestyle benefits. Yeah. So look at that. Compensation benefits or the rewards program that you have has to be looked into. These are trends. Again, that is why I started that these are already being done. And I think if you're not doing it, then you are a, pardon my saying it, you are not a so good HR, because what your practices is actually 1980s or scary if it is 1970s. So I beg your indulgence, listen and try to catch up. What you have to do, the upgrading, the retooling, the reskilling, which we are going to discuss later on, I think it must go first to HR. You know, Rina, I would like to mention this. There are a lot of organizations that would like to just the gobbledygook and just like to be with the trend. HRBP, but they have forgotten the compensation and benefit structure. Thank you, Jerry, for joining. One compensation challenge is the post-pandemic era is an organization apply hybrid work arrangement. How will organization compensate people who decide who work from home and those who decide to work from the office? How about impact on promotions? Will people who work from home find it hard to get promoted? Right, Jerry? And my challenge are all those in the compensate. They are so focused on the payroll. They are so focused on computing for the retirement, the nitty-gritty, but not looking into it. I will repeat what Jerry has posted. One compensation challenge in the post-pandemic era is the organization apply hybrid work arrangement. How will organization compensate people who decide to work from home and those who decide to work from the office? How about the impact on promotions? Will people who work from home find it hard to get promoted? Right. You see, importante po. And we are talking of trends. You must be doing it now. Or else, the word is, pardon, disservice. It is disservice to yourself as an HR and disservice to your organization and disservice to management. So we finish acquisition and planning. Jerry, I mentioned to them that what is actually being missed by HR is an honest to goodness, yung tatlo, manpower, human resource, and workforce planning. The difference is actually very slim, but you know they have to undergo into that process. And then let all that, it's not HR who should be actually be doing it. It should be management, your managers. We are so used to just asking for requisition, manpower requisition, and we fill that up. Not knowing now the pandemic taught us. Nabigla, we redundant. May mga redundancy. Now you need it. Because you are now, so it is actually a confusing direction. But of course, if you really would like to let people go, you let them go. But now, the learning curve. So, and then we go into compensation and benefits. When we come back, don't go away, my dear friends, because we're going to discuss the trends in learning and development and the trends in performance management. Okay. So, Direct Monica, can we have the break, please? This is Thank you. Before we go back to our guests, can we have that poster wherein we invite our yes viewers to watch shows in the new channel from Mondays to Sundays. These are wonderful shows, and you can use your gadgets. Just visit or log on to the new channel. Thank you very much, Direct. So let's go back. So, so we have already discussed manpower planning or HR, human resource planning. This is actually again different from your HRD. We have to discuss it later on because I will ask Jerry about the audit, the HR audit. But so after that acquisition, then compensation. Let's discuss learning and development. Learning and development. I will start, and I would like to get the insights, the thoughts from Jerry, Rena, and we are many here in the room. One of which is actually a lot of us are looking into what will be uh, training, learning, and development in the future. But we have missed what is actually the trend now, so that people will try to catch up, so that they will do it. Again, I will mention, it has to be competency based. For you to come up with programs, it has to be competency based. So again, you have to go back into coming up with your competency design and development, because your trainings, which is integrated your succession planning, must be based on the TNA, should be based on the competencies. And then another trend is that you must have a program. A program. So can we spot on Rena? Competencies and capability. Direct, please. Pinapagtrabaho ko si Direct Monica. Competency and capability based. Yes. It is not just, para bang you're just trying to off the rack. Para bang there is somebody, you read a memo, and there are typographical, or what do you call this, grammatical errors, and then you discuss it with your boss, and then the boss said, let's have a communication webinar on business writing. And then that is not actually part of the plan. Maybe it is only one who needs it. So it has to be competency based. What are the competencies needed in the organization? And with the potential workers that you have, employees that you have, and then your program should be based on that. Jerry, I would like to get your thoughts on this. You know, Jerry, I always mention in my webinars and that actually, if there are only one or two handling learning and development in an organization, they should shy away training, doing actual training. They have to get us. We are the subject matter experts, because I've been telling them, you have to concentrate on the career path and the career dev of the potential. I don't know how we are. Now, if you tell me if this is the trend, yes, I am updated. I am just part of a PMAP initiative. Actually, I will mention it already as a screening for the awards. And then the best practices of those actually vying are, they have the right mindset, the right process on learning and development. So can we spot on Jerry? Spot on Jerry here. Learning should also focus on developing potential. And that is actually what is being missed, Jerry. Potential is defined as future performance. We should have a system for potential development in the same way we have rigorous ways of managing performance. I think that is what being missed, and I think that is the mindset or the paradigm, whatever you call it, that is actually being missed by the people in charge of learning and development. I will repeat. We should have a system for potential development. Hindi na develop yung potential eh. But sometimes we regulate it. Sometimes we hoard it. The same way that we have rigorous ways of managing performance. I will discuss it also, Jerry, yung performance. You know, when I say you hoard it, there is somebody under, say, a manager's, a subordinate under one of the managers, and it's really good. The manager would actually would not give him that person an opportunity because he knows that he is an asset to that company. I know that. I know government and a private organization who does that because the people are actually telling me. And you know what I told them? Even we are recorded, leave the company because you are being hoarded. You are not given that opportunity to shine. And you know what happened to one of those that I gave that advice? She's now doing good. So Jerry is actually correct. We don't actually look into the potentials of people, and I don't know who should be the one who should monitor that. Let's go to Rina. Rina here. Learners take charge of that learning bite-sized training. Oh, yeah, totoo yan. Isa-isa natin ha. Learners take charge of that. Ito yung tinatawag rin na self-led. Self-led. Which is why we must have that one of the career pathing. Career pathing. Kasi siya yung nagsasabi. Malay mo, wala naman talaga sa kanyang aspiration. And then the second one is bite-sized training. Diba? Bite-sized training. And these are actually from your LMS, or even if it is, some BPOs are actually doing it because for the interest of the time that they have, their training is actually minudo. I was actually invited into one, and I was really trying to fit myself into that. So, because my mindset, Rina, was that I'm going to give one training wherein all, di ba, we are used to that. But, you know, the manager was telling me, but you sir, we like to do it, but, you know, this should be bite-sized. An example of which might be, if you're going to discuss supervisory, one session on delegation, one session on decision making, one session, so you don't actually give it entirely. So virtual training is here to stay. Yes, they found out that this is what do you call this? It saves a lot of money and it's not expensive. Hey, can you go back? Can you go to Rina? Direct, may yung last, hindi pa natin nasabi. And then the gamified learning. Yes. It's gamified learning that even the series of learnings that they do, there are some course activities to make it, but it is a gamification. They try to do something to gain points, to compete, but not actually to create trouble. There is gamification. Yes. Then, can we go back to Jeneline? There's a need. Learners take charge of their learning bite size. Now, Jeneline here, before Rina, there's a need to conduct training needs analysis. Oo nga, Jeneline. Alam mo, kupong-kupong pa ito. Siguro, Diyos ko, bata pa kami ni Jerry, nadi-discuss na yung TNA. Maniwala ka, there are a lot of people trying to get me up to now because they listen that I am so, what do you call this, exciting to, but you know, there is no TNA. And then I insist to do a TNA, naiiba. Siguro, for the past few months, naiiba yung tuturo kasi they are not actually hitting it. One of which was just last night. Somebody's asking me to do motivation strategies. And I told them, is that a good topic? I found out that they're not trying to hit that. It's actually just work-life integration and time management. So let's go to Jerry. This is exciting. You can actually measure potential. This is where the competency model can be useful. Ang mahirap nga, Sir Jerry, walang competency model, walang ano. Organization can define competencies associated with potential. A popular potential competency now is learning agility in the light of disruptive environment. So yun, we have people in charge of learning and development in organizations. Listen to past President Jerry Plana telling us that we have to come up with a program in looking into the potential. You develop the potentiality. Yung para bang ganito, sino ba ang nag-isip doon sa mga nanay ko na ako turuan magpiano? So from grade 1 to 4th year college, I was learning piano. And you know what I got? It is not the skill of playing piano. No, I don't play the piano now because I don't want the what you call the technician to tinker on it unless ano na siya, vaccine na. But you know, I got a lot of other competencies, the discipline that I have, the love of the arts, the balance, di ba? Ang dami kong nakuha doon sa pag-aral ko ng piano. So, ang tatanungin doon, how can we use that for our learning and development? That I'm getting Jerry. How can we come up with programs that we are developing potential? Yung para bang, ano kasi, this is actually integrated to succession planning. So, let's go to Jeneline Insyong. There is a need to conduct training needs, yes. Then we have Rina Rivero, and then we have Jerry. So, that's it. I mean, you know, right, the trends now in learning development, 1, it has to be virtual. 2, it is online, and sometimes it's hybrid. Gone are the days that you really have to insist that there should be a face-to-face. Then 2, bite-size, and you use technology, and it has to be self-led. And I think 1, it has to be something that is planned and there should be a program for each. So the career dev, Jerry and Rina, we have even missing that they should not forget leadership. The leadership pipeline. A lot of organizations, even big ones, but I know the big ones, they have it. They missed training their managers and executives. And it's different. You cannot actually, when I was in Inquirer, I have a different way of trying to let executives be updated. It's not. I know of some. I will mention it. Say SM. They enroll their middle managers and executives to a course in AIM. Some are actually sending their executives abroad. So, can we spot on Jerry? Focus on human skills is also a trend, and it takes over many jobs. Yes. Sometimes the soft skills, but I like this, the human skills. Actually, that is the starting point. You know, there is a need to, at this time, everybody should be doing retooling, reskilling, then upgrading. I think for HR, upgrading. One of which a lot would like to do HRBP, and they have it, but you know, the mindset is not yet there. So sometimes they are just trying to extend what you are doing in HR. Then you become actually assistants in the business units, but that is not HRBP. So focus first on the human skills, on the competencies that are needed. So how you are going to the rapport building, the say relationship building, and then the confidence building, Jerry. Whenever you are trying to be an HRBP, then you are not that confident, or you are also very authoritative, and that is a difference. So, you know, I did this in one big company, and when I do trainings now, Jerry, I really look into something deep, not the usual processes that we share, so that people will really put it in their system. The why. I always start with the why. So yes, the human. So it's to mention it as fast as you can. Say emotional intelligence or the soft skills. Yes, it has to be. What do you call this? There should be a program on that to everybody before we even come up. Would you believe, Jerry and Rina, there is an organization where even I am tasked to do it, that uh, the simple office skills are being missed. And I think that is what is, especially with the zillennials and some millennials, yung younger set, they have missed the simple uh, office skills. So it is not actually defining that they need to participate in meetings, that they need to come up with reports. Parang na-miss yung Jerry. HR should stand now for human and robots. Yes, the machine-man work interface will be critical in the future. You know, Jerry, I just recently found out there are actually, especially in the manufacturing, they are not actually in the robotics. And then you are right. The acceptance of people embracing the collaboration with robots or AI and what they're doing. And there should be a training for that. You know, a lot of agencies are actually not using their systems, and one of it is the HRIS. Jerry, chismis ito ha, chismis ito. There are a lot of agencies, they bought updated systems. They are not using it because the owners or the one that are supposed to do it are afraid that the systems will actually compete with them and they will eventually take them, mawawala sila. So they're not using it. Even the analytics, they are not using it. Because siguro wala nang yung interface. Walang nag-prepare nung tao na gumamit. But you know, hindi ako maniwala niyan kasi even may katulong here, mabilis yung kanyang a new application in the mobile phone, madali. Pero I think this is actually in the social media, but the use of say robotics. So that is actually on learning and development. How about performance? Performance management. I would like to get your insight. There are many here. I would like to get your insights on performance management. One is, it has to be, I will start. One is, it has to be, what do you call this? Based on the strat plan. It has to be, there should be an objective base. A lot of people, when I ask, yes, they do that. But when I found out that it's not actually related to the directions of the company. It is actually coming just from the supervisors that they are supposed to come up with that. So there is I think if it's a communication problem. Okay, Janelyn here as a post. Can we read it? Training design should be aligned with the needed competencies. Right, Janelyn? Right, Janelyn? Yun ang nami-miss. That is actually the gap. That is actually the gap. That there are a lot of trainings that are not aligned to the competencies that should be addressed. And sometimes this is the problem also with the trainers themselves or the providers. They come up with what you call off the rack. That they parang for public seminars, yes. But when you're going to deal it with your organization, that has to be focused on the competencies that will be needed. So let's go back to the performance. There are a lot of systems now monitoring performance. When you say performance, is actually the controlling part of management, planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Then when we say performance, then all of those functions of management, you use that. And what is the involvement or the role of HR? The HR must actually ensure that it is actually being done. I found out, Jerry, kaya yung investors in people is will actually be needed. I just came into two organizations that they don't even have they haven't documented their processes. So because I was asking them, let's have some audit on your processes. It's not documented. Whereas is one, which I'm going to do, mayroong customer service, it's not documented also. So that is the problem. So ang dami, the hands of HR is actually full, but you're not supposed to do it. You're just going to initiate it kasi this is performance management. Big organizations yan, ha? Big organizations, and this actually cuts across industries. Na may oras, it is written, siguro ginawa ng isang consultant, but it is not anymore what is being done. What is not being done. Yeah, may nakalabay dyan, may schematic diagram. O, ang ganda ng pronunciation ko, ha? Hindi schematic, semantic. May schematic diagram, pero iba na yon. So, let me see. Jerry here, the main problem with PMS is systemic. Yes, we are more interested in giving differentiated rewards rather than improved performance. Ay, Jerry, spot on ka talaga. That is why if we drop ratings and the direct link to pay decisions, many of the current problems we experience will be reached. Yes. Para bang nakafocus tayo lang doon nung para bang you do it, you perform it, you have, para bang results kagad eh. Results, then you pay. Diba? Results and you pay. Tama, very nice. Spot on suggested. That's why if you drop ratings and the direct link to the pay decisions, many of the current problems we experience will be solved. So, para bang even the ones in operations, the managers in operations, they are not anymore keen on how they are going to do it, but they are more keen on how they are going to rate and how they are going to pay. So hindi na nakita yon, and that is actually that dapat yan ang trend. That kasi may mga naggagawa na ngayon kasi nakita na yan eh. Nakita na yan. Yes, there is a post from Rina. Yeah. Yes. Appraisal versus management. Right, Rina? And that is the trend. You know, yung ano kasi, Rina, yung appraisal is the traditional appraisal. Is a traditional appraisal. Just like in training, we miss that in training. Yung evaluation ng training evaluation, para bang invited ka and then you're being evaluated on your expertise. Sabi ko, Rina, how dare you? I've been teaching this for the longest time, be it correct or not. Don't challenge my expertise. And the one that will give you a low mark is that somebody who doesn't even know. Ganun din sa performance. Yung para bang tinitingnan pa yung attendance, yung hindi tinitingnan yung paano yung yung input, yung sharing niya of his thoughts in doing it. So, para bang yes, it becomes compliance lang, right? It becomes compliance. Diba? So, yun nga. So, yung appraisal versus the management of it. Oh, ngayon, going back to learning and development. Sige nga, mag-appraisal ka pa ng food. Sige nga, mag-appraisal ka nga ng food. Doon dapat, ang nasabi natin, Rina and Jerry, is the Kirkpatrick. The reaction, their learning, and their if you are changing lives. Kaya dapat mag-iba po yun. Hindi nagtatanong na kung pronunciation ni Sir Jess ay maganda. Hindi yun eh. It's their learning that should be their concern. Now, similarly sa performance, it's the appraisal is actually on how they do it sa process. Kasi nagtatama yun. Ang dami nga doon sa end, the result. Pero yung wastage, Jerry, and the time frame, Jerry, naku Jerry, talaga mag-collaborate na tayo at nakikita ko ang problema. And Rina siguro, sa performance lang nakikita ko. Kasi, you know it is the trend. Kasi there are some organizations that are already on it. Sige nga, mag-ano ka ko kay Jerry. Jerry, actually, yung mga nandyan sa IIP, they know it. People go for safe goals rather than get stretch goals because it will affect their paycheck. Right? Right, Jerry? How can we input that thought, Jerry? That people go for safe goals? Di ba? How can we input that? And then kasi nakikita ko nga, kasi doon sa performance management, ay, papasok dito, Jerry, yung coaching. Hindi nga, kulang nga sa coaching eh. But I'm trying to, Jerry, I'm trying to connect yung time frame given. Kasi di ba, productivity is actually, para bang, tinatapat mo eh. It's actually based on the time frame that is given to you so that you can be productive. I don't know if it's being based, but I know of some that it is. Para bang tinatanong bakit ito na, gaya ba dito sa akin, mag-overtime naman tayo, I should be penalized for that. Di ba? Pero sige lang. Okay lang. Di ba? So, dapat yan ma-input sa performance kasi that is what is being missed. At Jerry, ipapasok pa natin yung performance-based, what do you call this? Results-based management. Yung results, then the outcome, and then the impact. Parang nakakalimutan din yan. And then magtatanong yung HR, should I be involved in that? Of course, yes. Kaya nga may yung mindset ng HRBP because everybody is for the vision and for the accomplishment of the mission of the organization. So you have to look into that. Hindi ka nagpunta doon na nag-submit sila ng ng mga surveys or nakiano ka ng away. So dapat you have to look into that. Okay. Then that is true, Sir Jerry. Yes. Can you read the post of Rina somewhere here? People go to, yes, okay. So, dyan lang muna tayo magtapos. And then Rina and Jerry, can we go back sa Thursday? Kasi I would like to continue with this. Mag-discuss tayo. We start with performance, then succession, then employee engagement. Yung, an employee engagement lang ba? Online masses lang? Then, all the other of talent management and what are the trends. We are not thinking of what they should do, preparing for the new normal, what they should be doing now because that is actually the trend. Ang mahirap nito, Jerry, is trying to pull people to really, para bang ano ba tawag nun? Calibrate the practice. Jerry, can you think of a better term for that? Si Rina sinabi na kanina benchmark. Naku, we are many here, but the rest are not actually, what do you call this? Putting in their inputs. So let's do this again on Thursday because I really would like to. This is one topic that we should really discuss kasi it's updating people and then telling us also our thoughts and insights on how we are going to do it. So, because it's already overtime, so I would like to thank all the people. We are many here in the room, but you can still post your insights on manpower and acquisition, on learning and development, or training and development, and then on performance management and compensation also. So nakaapat tayo. And then, these are the trends and people should benchmark. But, the point is how we're going to calibrate. It cuts across. We don't have to say that it's only good for the big companies. No. Because HR function should be done even if you're just 12, 50, 100. The HR function should be the more that you are smaller, the better that you can start upgrading your programs. Janeline here says, in our organization, we keep on improving our PMS. It highlights the competency gaps of our employees. Yes. Ang problema sa government, Janeline, is that there is an, the prime HR prime from the civil service, but how you're going to localize, implement it in your organization depends on how you're doing to do it. I would like to invite again our season HR guest to be with me because at the end of our discussion on Thursday, I would like to discuss yung audit, which is more on governance and what programs that they should do. Let us try to share to the HR what are the things that they should prioritize. Kasi diba, their hands are already full and we are telling them to really upgrade their programs and practices. So Jerry, Rina, and all the rest who are here, let us try to converse on what will really be done. Considering that it is ongoing. They have to continue to make sure that the payroll is up there, continue making sure that uh, um, what do you call this, interactions or communications or infractions are being addressed to. So yun, ang ganda ng ating usapan. Thank you very much. So let me try to conclude. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for all of us, please share this for all of us who are in HR and leaders. You remember that PMAP is from personnel to people. So people management is actually everybody who handles, you take care of people. Then we go into what we call the talent management process or the strategic human resource management. And these are the areas, these are the dimensions, and we discuss this. And what is the point of HR Hotline? Is that for us to make sure that we are not left behind. It is just like, say, of course, I will not ask you to do TikTok, but TikTok is the trend now. If you cannot do it, watch it and be amused by it. Or it's just like, say, what are the trends? The Korean hair, the Korean haircut. Look at my haircut. You have to go with the trend because you are a dynamic individual, much more when you are dealing with your organizations. For the longest time, you haven't touched your salary structure. For the longest time, your programs have been the same. For the longest time, what you're feeding them, what you are telling them are the same. Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic taught us the pandemic is a disruption. It taught us to think of better ways or other things or to update because it is felt. It is felt. So what HR Hotline is doing is for us to be updated. I am learning. I hope you are learning too. And this is actually for our practice and for our profession. That the list that I forget. Say for doctors, you don't actually give medicines na dumaan na. I will not mention it because I don't want to hurt pharmaceutical firms. But there are some medicines that are not anymore prescribed by doctors kasi hindi lang trend, may bago na. May bago na. So, yeah, alam ko, even the paracetamol, the brands of paracetamol, that is actually the generic term, but nag-iba na. Okay? So much with HR because we are dealing with the organization and it's dynamic. We have to make sure that we are with the trend. Not that uso. No. The trend is the practice. And the practice, that is the... And last. Remember that everybody in the social media, people can compare. And we go back to what Rina mentioned earlier. We can be assessed by the people, by our customers. They will try to see that our practices in our organizations are not actually updated. Be careful and be aware of that. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Diyos mabalos po, ito si Jessie Francis Rebustillo.